Hello, this is Laura, and this is the final video where we're going to discuss what a peer-reviewed article is, how to read one, and finally how to get help for your research. What we're going to start by doing is by clicking on this article title. So the first thing we did, obviously, was click on the article title to discover a little more about this article. Once we have looked at it, once we've read that abstract, what we're going to do is head right over here, and you'll see the full text to the article is right here on the left side of the screen. One of the things I would recommend is that you click on PDF full text whenever you have an option between HTML and PDF, because the PDF will also show you any images, charts, tables, or graphs that were published with the original article. At this point, what we're looking at is the first page of our scholarly article. Let's pause for just a minute and talk about scholarly articles, what they are, and how they're published. So one of the things you'll notice is that as we look at the first page of this article, it is pretty clear that the article authors do not need to catch your attention. By which I mean there are no big graphics, no images, no shocking title. Instead, the authors believe that you are interested enough in this topic that you're going to look at a title like The Effects of Motor Imagery Training on Performance and Mental Representation of a 7 to 15-year-old Gymnasts of different levels of expertise, and that you are going to be interested in this and willing to follow through just because you are naturally interested in the content. Scholarly articles are often called peer-reviewed articles. And as you can see here, one of the tricks to discovering whether or not you're looking at something that is scholarly is by, first of all, starting with the author information. So you'll see that we've got 4 authors of this article, and that's not uncommon. Oftentimes scholarly articles have more than one author. You can also see that every one of these authors has a university listed under their name. So the authors are scholars themselves. And what you're going to discover, if you think about the process of peer review, which you may have actually done maybe in an English or a speech class, there is a similar kind of system that is put in place to evaluate scholarly articles. So when these 4 authors wrote this article up and sent it to the Journal of Sport, Exercise, and Performance Psychology, the editor at that journal took this article and sent it on to somewhere between 2 and 3 other experts on gymnastics or on sports psychology or on imagery. And what those experts did was they looked at the rough draft of this article to see a couple of things. So first of all, they wanted to make sure the writing was clear. Could they understand what the authors were saying? Second of all, they wanted to make sure that the article was logical. So does the hypothesis, the argument about imagery training on performance, make sense? If there's an experiment described here, does the experiment look like it would logically provide information that would help the authors to know whether or not, for example, imagery is a good strategy for a coach or an athlete to try to improve their gymnastics performance? They also want to look to make sure that the information here in the article is new. So what they want to know is that this article is teaching us something about imagery and its impact on gymnasts of a certain age that we don't know from looking at other articles in the literature. When the article passes those checkpoints, the experts who reviewed it will send it back to the editor and either recommend that the authors rewrite portions of the article, or they will give it an okay to publish. And that is literally the process of peer review. It's how scholarly articles are published. And the good thing about using scholarly articles as you learn more about sports psychology is that you know that the information you're reading in a scholarly article has some proof behind it, that it's been written by experts, that it's been verified by experts. So you're not just looking at like a little blurb on the internet that says 9 out of 10 high-performing athletes drink Mountain Dew 20 minutes before a game, and maybe you should as well. You're actually looking at something that has been studied that has data behind it. You'll see as well as we scroll down, so that abstract that the database gave us is right here on the first page of the article, and that's pretty common as well. As you scroll down, you will also see as you read the article that scholarly articles in the sciences and social sciences tend to follow a pretty similar format. So the article tends to start with an introduction that describes what we know about the topic and then what we don't know, and a hypothesis, an argument that the authors are making about what impact, in this case, imagery might have upon the performance of gymnasts. And you'll see as we keep scrolling down, this is still the introduction. It's still explaining information here. We get to a heading here then that says the present study. So this is going to describe what these authors did to study visualization among gymnasts and what its impact is. And you can see as we look, so we conducted a study. We looked at 56 female gymnasts in this age range. It was 4 weeks long. And as you keep reading, obviously you learn a little more about the study here. You can also see, so they measured performance on very specific gymnastic tasks. As you keep scrolling down, you'll see, so measures, the information they use to explain. The results here are also a pretty common section in scholarly articles, and what this is the data the experiment produced. This is often where you're going to see a chart or a table or a graph. Here you can see lots of different numbers, what happened here. And there we go, you can see groups that it looks like they measured the difference between using imagery in different ways, and you can see the table here describes those differences. Scroll down and you can also see a discussion section now, and what that is it's analyzing the results. So how do the authors feel this data explains the relationship between imagery and gymnastics performance? So this will give you this will explain basically whether or not any evidence was found to support the author's hypothesis. Keep scrolling down, and oftentimes, but not in this case, you will see a conclusion, which is usually a very brief, maybe paragraph-long summary of whether or not evidence was found that supported the hypothesis. Finally, at the very end of the article, you'll see citations. So the same citations your professors ask you to use when you write in a scholarly way are how scholars talk back and forth to each other about the work that influences the work that they do. Now that you understand the process of peer review and the sections of scholarly articles, the last piece of advice I can give you when it comes time to read your scholarly article is that the first time you read it, you don't need to read from the first sentence to the last sentence. Instead, what I would recommend that you do is start at the very beginning of your article and read the abstract, and make sure you understand every word in the abstract. Then what I would do is read the introduction, because that's the author's explanation of what they're studying. Then skip to the very end. If there is a conclusion, read that next. If there isn't, read the discussion. So you're going to read the abstract, the summary, the scientist's explanation of their setup, what were they studying and why, and their results, or excuse me, their discussion, which explains whether or not evidence was produced to support the idea they had in the introduction. Once you understand all three of those sections, start again at the first sentence and read through from the very beginning to the very end. This time, however, when you hit materials and methods sections, you can take a deep breath if you're hitting things that you don't understand, maybe a concept or language, or maybe a technique or a tool. Because you know where the authors are going to end up, it's not going to be as challenging to read once you understand that concept. So first time through, abstract, introduction, either conclusion if there is one, or discussion if there isn't. Second time through, read from beginning to end, and this time stop and look up things that you don't understand, and you will find that reading this article will be easier if you read in this way. And then, just as I mentioned in the last video, once you've decided an article is a good fit, make sure to use the email link over here to send yourself a PDF copy of the article and a rough draft citation. I am going to head back really quickly to this class guide. Other things that I want to stress for you is that down below, when you want to check your citation, your rough draft, and make sure that it's in good shape. There is a citing box on this page. Make sure you take a look. The COD's Guide to APA Citations will give you a sense of exactly what a journal article citation ought to look like right here, and you can compare your citation to this. The last thing I want to stress before I end this video is that you can see that my name and my contact information is right here on the right side of this page. If you struggle to find a good article, or you struggle to understand what is in your article or whether or not it's scholarly, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can send me an email using this link right here below my picture. You can also, if you would like, schedule a video appointment with me and we can talk. I can show you a live search on your topic. We can discuss keywords or your citations or anything like that. If you try to schedule an appointment with me and I am completely booked up, or you need help on a weekend or anything like that, you can also see up here in the upper right hand corner of your screen there is a chat with us link. Whenever the library is open, and we have hours every day other than holidays like Thanksgiving, please click chat with us. You can then talk in real time whenever the library is open with a librarian, and they can also help to answer these questions. The last thing you'll notice, if you go to the library homepage and click Ask Us, you are also able to schedule an appointment with any librarian if I'm busy, and you would be able to talk with them over video as well. Okay, that is it. Thank you so much for watching all of my videos. Good luck with this project, and please don't hesitate to reach out for help if you have questions. Thank you.